Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and we do things differently here. We're not a team of Western psychologists. I started out as a divorce mediator, and about 20 years ago I realized something's wrong. I'm helping people get a divorce who shouldn't be. And it's really, I hate to say it, but Western therapists just don't know enough about marriage. And the whole approach of Western psychology is to look for problems, see if you could solve the problems. But if you're having these kind of problems, like 4 true signs that your wife doesn't love you anymore and 4 false signs, it means that you already know things are not happening with your marriage the way they should be. So let's get into this a little bit. Let's talk about what is working and what's not working. And I won't just touch on these signs, but I'll get into it so you have a deeper understanding of marriage. Marriage, our point of view at the Marriage Foundation is that marriage is supposed to, when it's working, and when you know how to make it work, it will work. It's all about love and happiness. And we base that on the simple reality that you have free will. And so you have the ability to change your future. Can't do anything to fix the past, but you can make the future great. So, true sign, she's finding other things to do instead of spending time with you. So what I'm talking about with that is that she'd rather not be with you. If she'd really rather not be with you, I hate saying she's not in love with you anymore, but she doesn't have that attraction that she had when you asked her to marry her, when you asked her to marry you. So why not? It's probably because, and by the way, our whole thing here is you can do this yourself. It doesn't take 2 to tango for you to correct your role in your marriage. And if you make your thing much better, then she will find interest in you again. And you'll see, it's not love, it's not that she doesn't love you, but you're not attracting her. So if she's finding other things to do instead of spending time with you, it's a good indicator that you're not as interesting as you used to be. Maybe you're watching too much TV, playing video games, going on your social media, and you're not giving time to her. You're not telling her she's beautiful. You're not telling her how much you appreciate her. And it's never one side. So maybe you're angry with her all the time and you're showing it, which we should never do as men. There's a lot of reasons, but this is a big indicator that you have to set things straight when she starts finding excuses for not being with you. Number 2, she's going out more than just occasionally with other people. So we see this from time to time where wives are starting to go to a few too many social events from work. They're spending more time with their girlfriends. Having girls' night out, even once a week, is way too much. And these are the kind of things that's telling you basically the same thing as number 1. She's not finding you the most special person to spend time with. And she'll tell you, no, it's not about you. I got to get out of the house, blah, blah, blah. It is about you. If you're knocking her socks off, she's going to want to be with you. So take responsibility for making sure, and don't ask her, you know what to do. Make sure you're amazing. And I don't mean coming up with one thing here and one thing there. That doesn't work. That stuff is BS. You need to change your attitude towards her. You're thinking about her. You're thinking about your relationship. One of the primary things that we don't do, that we need to do, in our marriage is work on ourselves. All of us think that we're great. We do. We think we're great. But when was the last time you did any real self-introspection and took a look? Everyone thinks their philosophy is awesome. But if you really analyze it, your actions, your thinking even, are probably not lining up with your philosophies. So even at the Marriage Foundation, we always begin with, because we have a course for men, we always begin with the individual, because we have a course for women too. So we begin with the individual. What can I do to improve who I am in the relationship? How do I improve my thinking? How do I change my habits? It's very important. Number 3, when she's not trying to look good for you. And this is important because a woman's beauty is like a huge thing. She has used it all of her life. It's a big thing for her, just like for men. Our power is a big thing for us. Their power is their beauty. So if she's not trying to win you with her beauty, if she's not going that extra mile, your tendency will say, hey, what's wrong with you? How come you're not doing this anymore? How come you don't look good for me anymore? And I don't mean you'll say that to her, but in your own head. It means that she doesn't see you as someone she wants to win over. And that's the problem. You need to be someone that she wants to be with. Not because she's supposed to be, but she wants to be. And that's up to you. It's not up to her. When was the last time you told her how beautiful she is? When was the last time you told her you loved her with deep sincerity? When was the last time you wanted to have sex with her because you love her, not because you wanted to get it off? All of these things need to be learned. We're not taught about this. And it's no one's fault that we weren't. People didn't know. Like I said, I used to be a divorce mediator, and I saw the results of a lack of real education in our society. It's no one's fault. Everyone wants what's right. But this is cutting edge stuff. You should subscribe to this channel, you know, so you could learn more about marriage the right way. Okay, then there's false signs. And these are the signs that, you know, the mainstream will tell you, but they're not really signs of her losing interest in you. So number 1 is she complains all the time. Look, we live in a world that puts a lot of pressure on us, all of us, and all of us tend to complain too much. We do. And it's a mistake. And we usually, because we're so close to our spouse, we complain to our wives, and our wives complain to us. This is not a sign of anything other than a lack of positive thinking. And sure, it's better to change our thinking into positive thinking, and it's one of the things that you can do to reattract your wife. But it's not a sign that she doesn't love you, not by any means. Then, number 2, she doesn't want to have sex with you. This is a whole nother topic, and you should look for our videos on this, because this is deep. This is something that is so common. And it's really, I blame Hollywood, but I don't blame the Hollywood types. They don't know any better. But everyone thinks of sex as a recreational event. We use the term making love, but we don't really mean that. Now, I shouldn't say we, because I'm different, but I'm educated, and you can be too. So here's what's the deal with that. Sex is a primal urge. It's instinctive. But as human beings, we have the ability to use it as a bridge for our love. But that's not what we do. It's much easier to get into the feeling good parts, the sensuality of sex. And so what happens is, we rate each other. And was that as good for you as it was for me? And we're talking about, did you get off? Did you have an orgasm? My orgasm was amazing. Wow, blah, 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 blah. And that's not how, when you're married to the person you love, that's not how you're supposed to utilize sex. Sex should be used as the most intimate physical thing you can do. And it should be honored in that regard and not brought down to recreation. So women are much more sensitive about this without knowing, because the lack of training, but they are tied. Their heart and body, they're tied together, unlike us. And so they're not drawn to having sex with us unless we are touching their heart. And a lot of people have written about, the foreplay for a woman is an all-day event, and it's not. It's a 24/7 event. Foreplay should not be attached to recreational sex. Foreplay should be thought of as tilling the soil of our hearts, of opening ourselves up, being open, being loving, connecting on a very deep level. And so then when you do have sex with your wife, it's a very special culmination of so much love, so much overflowing love, that it transcends the physical fun part, which is still going to be there. But the other part, the spiritual part, the love part, is so much more powerful. And when you learn how to do this, it changes the whole dynamic of your marriage. It makes it so much better. Okay, so she puts the kids' needs ahead of yours. And this is really common. This is not a sign that she doesn't love you, but we are taught, mistaught, that we're supposed to love our kids more than our spouse. And it's simply not true. The fact of the matter is, love is a choice. Yes, we fall into love, but there's a different reason we call it that way. It's because when we allow ourselves to love completely, it transcends the mind. So it's like a free fall into love. It's a very spiritual thing. And so we choose, the only person we choose to love is the person we marry. Everyone else, it's a setup. You're born to parents, of course you're going to love them, right? You depend on them completely, so you love them. You love your siblings. You might not even love them, but you're supposed to, so you say, I love my siblings. Your children, you love them, they're born to you. It's part of the instinct that we have to love our kids. But your wife is someone who you love because you chose to, and she loves you because she chose to. And this is huge. This is a very, very big deal. So she chose to love you, but we're not taught when we get married how to nurture that love, how to build that devotion, how to get into each other in a very positive way, hold back all the criticism, condemnation, and unnecessary garbage that most people get into when they're married. And when you do that, then you're in sync with your intentions and things are beautiful. But because of how we're taught, mistaught in our world, we love our kids more. And so she loves her kids more. And you'll probably say, I love my kids more. And it's only because you're not running your marriage correctly. Truthfully, you shouldn't love your kids more. You should love your wife more, and she should love you more. But you need to learn how to do that. And then it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Lastly, she forgot your birthday. Well, I don't know when your birthday is. Mine is the first couple, January 2nd. So you can imagine how many times I got presents for, I was raised Jewish, so Hanukkah presents and birthday presents were all in one. We were poor, so it was a cheaper event for my parents, and frankly, they would forget my birthday. So if she forgets your birthday, don't worry about it. It goes back to you're not really stimulating the love. Here's the whole thing about this video, and it's very important. The emphasis on this is if your wife is not expressing the kind of love that you desire, and it's less than it used to be, it means clearly that your marriage is trending in the wrong direction, and most importantly, you can do something about it. But, and I always put out this warning, and some people think it's because it's part of a sales pitch, because I want you to get my books, or I want you to take the course for men or the course for women if you were a woman. You don't have the information at your fingertips. And yes, watching these videos is free. You definitely should subscribe, but it's not enough. You really need to learn. And I'm telling you this because I created all of the, I put it together. It was a lot of work to put it together. And it took me years to really get it put together. So, you know, you might be smarter than me, but putting it all together just takes time. And it takes some objectivity. I already did the work. You might as well use what I put together, right? So don't try to do it all on your own. I mean, you have to do it yourself, but you need real information. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. We're here to serve you. And I hope you like this video. I hope you leave a comment. And I hope you join again. Thank you so much for joining me now. Take care. God bless.